explosion in West Virginia. It just came out this morning. 29 workers were killed after the explosion at the coal mine in April last year, and the report examines the performance of the mine operator and looks into how effective the state and federal mine safety agencies are. The report will also include recommendations for future safety guidelines and operating procedures. This report, we have just learned, is blaming the mine for the accident, the mine owners. Will sky-high gas prices keep people from traveling this holiday? Well, how much are travelers willing to spend? The Auto Club plans to release its National Memorial Day holiday weekend travel forecast later this morning, and we will see if people are going to take to the roads this holiday. Dan and Alexis, back to you in the studio.
You gotta go. Can't just say, oh, I'm going to call off my light because the oil companies are taking all our money.
Thanks, Bridget, for that.
Gotta keep going.
All this week, KUSI is featuring in-depth coverage of local Marines fighting the war in Afghanistan. And this morning, we show you why having boots on the ground isn't enough to defeat the enemy.
Yeah, ground forces obviously have to be supplied for everything from bullets to Band-Aids. John Soderman has more on that.
Hey,
in combat, keeping the attack moving forward depends on getting the warfighters the supplies, maintenance, and medical care they need to win. For Camp Pendleton's Marines fighting in Afghanistan, that job falls to the 1st Marine Logistics Group. They simply call the job beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. But keeping a war zone supplied is a monumental task.
Essentially now we've secured almost the entire Helmand River Valley from Tagaz down in the south all the way up to Sangin in the north.
And it's a task these Marines do with excellence. During the Iraq War,
the unit was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation for moving more supplies over more territory than any other unit in American history.
It's also dangerous work. The enemy routinely targets the Marines as they move supplies across the war zone. But nothing stops these dedicated professional Marines from construction, handling explosives, and getting troops the supplies they need when they need it.
One solid team all pulling in the same direction with a common purpose. I think that the Marines do that very well.
The 1st Marine Logistics Group fights with one goal: victory through logistics.
Phenomenal young men and women, and they represent the San Diego area exceptionally well.
John Soderman, KUSI News.
And joining me this morning are members from the 1st Marine Logistics Group, Captain Daniel Francis and Staff Sergeant Jamarcus Tate, joining us this morning. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
And you have both just returned from Afghanistan within the past couple of months. Can you tell us, why don't we start with you, Captain Francis, and tell us about what your role was in Afghanistan?
Well, I was an engineer company commander, and we built a variety of things there. Patrol bases, checkpoints, we improved roads, put in culverts, built wooden structures, and did power distribution, fuel distribution, and water purification.
So if somebody needs to get from point A to point B, they can't do it without you?
Not if they want to travel on a road.
Okay, but even things like if they're trying to cross a river and there's no bridge or they can't get across, or that's what you do, right?
That's correct. We would do the smaller gap crossings.
Okay. And then for you, is it true that you're in charge of all of the transports, all the cars, the Hummers, everything?
Yes.
Is that right? Tell me a little bit about your projects.
Well, as part of 1st Marine Logistic Group, our main job was to get vital supplies from one destination to another to support those warfighters up on the front line, so to speak. Our expertise was doing combat logistic patrols during day and night, and we performed over 70 successful combat logistic patrols through some of the most unforgiving terrain.
And we're looking at some of the video. Describe what it's like in these conditions.
In those conditions, the weather is unpredictable, the terrain is unpredictable. Basically, we have to make sure we prep our vehicles in order to get and to sustain us from one destination to the next, because once we're out there, outside of the wire, we're kind of pretty much on our own.
And I'm imagining that at times you had to run in to people from the community that are, either there's enemies that are out there trying to stop you guys, and then there's people in the community that you've got to protect.
Correct.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, what we taught every Marine was to have in the back of your mind that everybody's innocent and to prove otherwise.
Okay.
So you treat them just like they was friendly until they prove to be a foe.
Okay. And then